Welcome to the Data Element Assistant, an Adobe launch extension by Evolytics. In this video, we'll cover the Data Element Assistant's key features and the benefits you'll get using it to harness the power of custom coding without writing a single line of code. Before we get started, let's review why Evolytics created the Data Element Assistant in the first place. When using Launch by Adobe to implement tags like analytics solutions, marketing beacons, or personalization platforms, data from your site needs to be manipulated in order to adhere to the formats required by those tags. Right now, that manipulation of data is only available through custom code, and that requires additional time and technical assistance. To solve the problem of time and effort-intensive custom code, Evolytics created the Data Element Assistant. The Data Element Assistant, or DEA, provides an easy-to-use interface for 4 commonly requested manipulations: performing simple math, combining pieces of data, extracting pieces of data, and evaluating a conditional sequence. With the DEA extension handling the custom code, you are able to deliver the data in the requested format faster. Let's review the 4 features available in the Data Element Assistant. With Calculate, you can add, subtract, multiply, or divide 2 data elements. Concatenate lets you join 2 or more data elements and, optionally, provide 1 or more delimiters between those elements. With Extract, you provide an array or a data element that contains an array, and then select the position of the desired piece of data or specify the attribute name. Sequence evaluates a list of data elements, delivering the first element with a value. Before we jump into a demo, let's review the benefits you get when using the DEA to manipulate data on your site. For example, you could concatenate multiple pieces of data to create a page name to send in your analytics call, or use this page name in a rule condition to trigger a specific voice of the consumer survey. Select specific product data from an array to send to Adobe Analytics, Adobe Audience Manager, or other analytics and marketing tools. Multiply units purchased by the base price to pass the total price paid to marketing beacons. Now, let's jump into a demo and see the Data Element Assistant in action. After you log into Launch, click on the Extension tab and then the Catalog link to find the DEA extension. We can quickly find it by searching for Data Element Assistant. DEA is already installed on our property for this demo, but just click on the Install button to get started. No upfront configuration is needed with the DEA. Simply click the Save button and the extension is ready to use. Before clicking Save, though, let's click on How It Works to see how to use the DEA's 4 features. Under How It Works, there is an Overview tab, along with a tab for each of the 4 operations. Let's check out Concatenate. Clicking on Concatenate, we find step-by-step instructions on how to use this feature. Quickly looking at the other tabs, we see that each one also has the step-by-step instructions. At any time, you can come back and reference these instructions. They are available before and after installation. All right, let's click the Save button to get this extension installed. When you install the DEA, a new data element type becomes available. To see this new data element type, let's click on the Data Element tab and then the Add Data Element button. On the Create New Data Element screen, we see the option of Data Element Assistant in the extension drop-down. Select it. Now the 4 operations, Calculate, Concatenate, Extract, and Sequence, are available under the Data Element Type drop-down. Let's select Concatenate. A common use for Concatenate is to create the page name variable. Let's say our page name needs to include 3 site section values delimited by pipe characters. Since our page name convention does not have a leading delimiter, we will leave the value as none. For the first piece of our page name, let's click on the data element icon and select Site Section. And for the second delimiter, we will enter a pipe. Then for the second piece of our page name, let's click the data element icon again and select Site Subsection. For this example, we need 3 data elements to create our page name variable, so let's click the Add button once more to add another data element. And for the third delimiter, we will again enter a pipe character. And for the final piece of our page name variable, let's click on the data element icon and this time select Site Subsection. For our page name example, we don't need a trailing delimiter, so let's leave this as none. We'll name this data element page name, and then click Force to Lowercase because we know the page name variable in Adobe Analytics is case sensitive. Then we will select Page View as the storage duration, and the final step is to click the Save button. Now we can go to the site and check out our handiwork. You can quickly see the data element by opening the console and using Launch's getVar function to return the value of page name. We can use the page name data element to populate the s.pagename variable in Adobe Analytics. And we can also use the page name variable to trigger a Voice of the Consumer survey on specific pages. Now, let's quickly run through the other three operations by going back to the Data Element tab and clicking on the Add Data Element button. We will again select Data Element Assistant in the extension dropdown, and this time let's choose Calculate from the Data Element Type dropdown. The Calculate operation allows you to add, subtract, multiply, or divide two data elements. You can also manually enter numbers or use a mix of manually entered numbers and data elements. You can also choose to format the answer as decimal or percent and define the desired number of decimals. Now, let's look at Extract. The Extract operation allows you to either select a data element that contains an array or manually type in an array path. Next, you can choose to extract the first value in that array, the last value, or a specific value in between. Remember, arrays are zero-based, so if you want the second item in the array, you will need to enter 1 as the index. Now let's review the final data element type, sequence. With the sequence operation, you provide two or more data elements, and then order them based on priority by clicking on the arrow icon at the end of the row and dragging it up or down. When the sequence data element executes, it starts at the top and works its way down the list. As soon as a data element has a valid value, the evaluation stops and that value is returned. Thanks for checking out the Data Element Assistant by Evolytics. We hope this Adobe Launch extension helps you evolve data collection and analytics on your website. Please email adobe@evolytics.com with any questions you have about the extension, or if you're interested in learning more about how to partner together to evolve analytics at your organization.